As Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook says, any risk is a risk, right? And being in business, it's a risk, but as long as you're logical and numbers work, everything will be fine.
Thank you so much for coming to talk with us. I'm excited to hear your story. Welcome to the podcast. I always like to start out with the origin story. Who was Vimal when you grew up? What kind of a kid were you?
So glad to be here. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Absolutely.
So I grew up in India,
Okay.
up until the age of 5, in the state of Gujarat, basically. And my father migrated to the U.S. in 1969. Then my mom and we migrated in 1975. So when we came to the country, as a child, I was very curious, because being in a new country, not being very efficient in English.
Sure.
So going to school was a little bit challenging in the beginning,
Yeah.
but with the support of my teachers and my friends.
So where did you come to? Did you come to Kansas City?
So my dad leased his first hotel in Stockton, California.
Stockton, California.
California, back in 1970, 71. And then I came in, we flew into Stockton, California, grew up in the hotel industry during that time.
Yeah.
I started working the desk with my parents at the age of 7, just to get into the industry. And I still remember during that time where it was a small hotel, independent property, and in a rundown area, because the investment was small at that time.
Right.
Money was challenging, so my dad took his first step, took the risk, and I remember, renting rooms with my dad, and the guest would come in, rent the room, and we used to give out the sheets and towels to the guest for a
Okay.
small deposit.
Interesting.
And they would make their own bed. So I wish we could go back to those days now.
Sure.
But
sure.
Times have changed.
What kind of a property was it? How big?
It was an independent property. I think it was about 24, 25 rooms. So he leased that. It was his first hotel he leased in Stockton, California. And then we moved to Las Vegas. We had property there. And we had property in Texas. And then we moved to Oklahoma, in a small town called Elk City. We were the first Indian family in that town.
Really?
That means the town population, I think at that time, was about 3,000 population.
Okay. Well, that's a small.
Yeah,
Small
it was a
town.
small town, and everybody knew us.
Yeah.
The
course.
community was very supportive of us being there. Especially in the hotel industry.
Right.
And we grew up there. We bought multiple properties at that time, and then we moved to Kansas City in 1982. We purchased a property here, and then this is our base now.
Without me having to do the math, how old were you when you moved to Kansas City?
Kansas City, I was in 7th grade. Yeah.
All right.
Junior high.
So did you live in Vegas and in Texas?
We
and
did.
in Oklahoma?
We lived in Stockton, Vegas, and Oklahoma. So the Texas property was a remote property.
Do you guys still own any of those? Or
No, we
is
sold.
everything-
Parents sold them off many years ago, and Dad retired
Yeah.
at an early age.
Nice.
And
Good for him.
then I took over the business.
Yeah.
I have 2 siblings. They're awesome. One's an attorney, and my sister is a PharmD major. They're in California.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and nobody else wanted to get into the hotel industry.
Just you.
So somebody has to continue the tradition, right?
Absolutely.
So here we are.
So you took the reins.
I did, and it's been very fruitful, thanks to thanks to the parents and the family support.
So how many did he build prior to retiring?
So basically, he off and on probably up close to 8 or 9 properties, and then we built our first property in Kansas City back in 1999.
Yeah.
We kept that for about 16 years, and then we sold it.
So you very much grew up in the hospitality industry.
Yes.
It's in your blood,
Yes.
clearly. Going forward, legacy, do you have kids? Are they?
I do. I do have 2 kids, son and a daughter.
right.
My son, he majored in international marketing from California, and he does help me in the real estate business, in the hotel
Nice.
business, and he also has his own men's boutique for Indian wear. So he's a fashion designer also.
Interesting.
I think he goes after my wife.
Yeah.
My wife, she's a fashion designer herself for Indian wedding clothing.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
That's
then my
really
daughter, she just graduated from college
Yeah.
a couple of months ago. So she wants to go into the health field. She's an entrepreneur, but I think she has her mindset in the health field. And
Yeah.
I don't think she wants to go into the hotel industry.
Sure. So did they grow up very similar to how you grew up, or were they not? Because your portfolio was much larger than when you initially grew up. So you were, like you said, sitting at the front desk helping out from very early on.
Correct.
How involved have they been in the industry?
So they've been very involved from childhood. I taught them how to write checks, make hotel deposits, things like that. Answer the phone, just the basics. Because I want them to learn and see if they want to really get into that industry when they grow up, right?
Yeah.
So you have to start them somewhere. Right?
Absolutely. And especially having their sense of entrepreneurship clearly comes from your father.
Correct.
Moving up. What was it like? I mean, it's probably all you knew, but how would you describe your childhood growing up in the hotel industry around your parents?
So childhood, growing up as a child in the hotel industry, my parents did not believe in child labor laws. I think none of the parents do. Working the front desk at an early age, helping in laundry, making rooms, things like that. Answering the phones.
Right.
So I think the seed that they planted in me at that time is very fruitful today for us.
What would you say is your first major role that you took on? Obviously with your parents, but what was Vimal's first project that he took on as a kid?
So as a kid, the management side of all the hotels, and then helping in the construction of our first hotel that we did in '99. Learning from that, we acquired many other properties. Myself branched out, and I have other brands that I own, including the Marriott Fairfield Inn, which we just opened up 7 months ago.
Very
and that was a
nice.
JV project, that's a first one for us. And I think it was a dedication to my parents,
Nice.
because he's always wanted to have an upscale property,
Yeah.
name brand, which I think we made that happen.
So what other brands have you been involved in?
We've been involved with Choice Hotels,
Okay.
Wyndham Properties. I have existing Wyndham Properties right now,
Very nice.
and then Marriott. And then hopefully looking into other brands down the road.
What was the first franchise that you and your dad got into
So
after being independent?
First project, our first hotel was a budget host, economy brand,
Yep.
right? There's still a few out there in the market.
Yep.
And it was nice. We had an independent property which we converted to a budget host, and we've had that.
Okay.
We operated that for about 12 years, basically. And then I was on the board for budget host also. That was my first experience being on a board.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the Fairfield, having the upscale brand, upscale property, was sort of a tribute to your parents. What is Vimal's legacy? What do you want to see years down the road for what you've worked on?
Years down the road, we eventually do want to grow more into upper scale properties, new construction, and just continue the legend.
You're heavy here in the Kansas City market. Is that where you
Correct.
want to stay? Do you want to?
We're open
branch
to
out?
ideas, open to possibilities anywhere in the U.S. We did have properties in, like I mentioned, in Stockton. We also had a property in Paso Robles, California, which is a wine county.
Yeah.
So we had a boutique hotel there. So yeah.
You still do? Or
No, we sold that.
And sold it. Hospitality industry is obviously very demanding constantly. There is no going to sleep and putting it to bed. What do you do outside of hospitality to keep you grounded?
So to keep me grounded is I do a lot of community service.
Nice.
I like to give back to the community. No recognition needed. It just helps me be a better person.
Yeah.
And motivates myself. Motivates to keep going.
Did you go to college, or
did.
you grew up?
I went to college in Warrensburg, Missouri, CMSU, Central Missouri State University. Yep, majored in business and CIS, computer information systems, but then took a detour into the hotel industry.
Detour back.
Yeah, exactly. Took a back actually.
Yes.
Took a pause a little bit.
Yes, got back to your roots. Did you meet your wife here in Kansas City in college?
So my wife is from India, Mumbai actually, which they call. So we were introduced via other friends and relatives, basically. We were pen pals for about 2 years. We wrote letters. At that time, they didn't have any email or fax, back in 90, I met her through via phone and letters around 91.
Very nice.
So we used to write letters to each other, and we used to wait for the letters to come in. That was the exciting part. You'd run to the PO box, to pick up the mail, right, at that time. So we used to do that. So it was nice. Met her. We got married in '93. Then she came to the U.S. after she finished her studies, and came to the U.S. in '94. Yeah. So
how does she like the U.S. Kansas
she loves
City?
it. She grew up in Mumbai and she went to a Indian English speaking school, so she was fluent in English already, which is good, and she's been very supportive. Awesome. She does not get involved in the hotel industry, but she has her own boutique, and then she also works in the corporate world too. So she stays very busy. So we want to come home together, have dinner, and not talk about hotels.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So,
my wife and I are both in real estate. We work together, and yes, having a little bit of separation is so important.
You need your time there.
Yeah. What was your first venture apart from your father?
So first venture was a Wyndham product, which we purchased. That was our first acquisition, my first acquisition actually. And then I have multiple Wyndham brands now, including the Fairfield Inn.
You like the Wyndham system?
I do like the Wyndham system. They're like family to me.
Yeah.
And it's been a good run with them.
Very nice.
So they're very supportive. My DFO is very supportive in the area. Anytime I need anything, I message her, gets a prompt reply right back.
Yeah.
So it helps.
In my experience there, it's very much a family.
It is.
Inside Wyndham especially. A lot of the brands obviously, but Wyndham especially seems like it's very close. What would you say is one of the biggest risks that you took early on?
So, as Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook says, any risk is a risk, right? And being in business, it's a risk, but as long as you're logical and numbers work, everything will be fine.
Would you say you are naturally more on the business systems or the numbers and analysis or the customer service? Where does Vimal really shine in?
So my shining point is everywhere. Every department. As a business owner, you have to be in every department, right? And you have to be very flexible.
Yes.
And it's been very challenging to me because I'm a very hands-on person. And with the Fairfield Inn, since it's our first JV project, I decided to, instead of managing it, and I want to focus on growth, I hired a management company for this property. But I'm still here every day. I don't get involved,
right.
But I'm there for my staff, for the management company. Anything they need, I'm there for them.
And one thing that a lot of not a lot, but some investors, when they're getting in, especially if you're new to that industry sector, you think if I'm going to hire a property manager, I don't want to have anything to do with it. And that's where we see a lot of problems.
It is.
You can hire the best manager, but you still have to manage the manager.
You do. Absolutely, I agree with you. Yeah. And it's been nice to go.
And if nothing else, just to make sure you're on the same page.
Exactly.
Because they could be fantastic at what they do, but if it's not what the strategy is that you are looking for, you're never going to align unless you're here talking to them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
Did you ever think, I don't know if this is going to work out with any of your projects?
Going back to the property I purchased about 4 years ago, it's a Wyndham brand. I took my wife there, and I wanted to get her perspective on it, right? And buying properties in a small town, we've never done that before. We've always been in big cities, metro areas.
Yeah.
So I took her there, population of 20,000. We were driving in, I told her, there's the property. She looked at it and she goes, let's buy it. Just by looking at the property. Because she had that intuition, right?
Yeah.
You get that feeling. And we bought it. And it's been a good run for them. Yeah,
nice.
It's been nice.
That's incredible.
It's been nice. It's been performing very well.
It's amazing how I think it's something about the feminine that has an intuition that we just honestly don't have.
Absolutely.
We can look at the numbers, we can look at, everything in solid detail, but something about that intuition is so important.
Yep. And then I'm very glad that she's there for me.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's very important. What is one lesson you learned early on that sticks with you today?
Starting to work at an early age. I mean, that's the most benefit that I've received.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, glad to my parents that, you know, they placed me at the front desk. They said, go for it. You know, because I still remember, you know, at that age, you know, when you have independent property in a small town, you know, the parents might want to take a break. You know, said, hey, you know what, we're going to go to the store, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
You know, and overhead, we're watching overhead. So I said, okay, Vimal, can you watch the desk floor bed for an hour, for half an hour? You know, we're just going to run to the store and come back. You know, so I used to do that. You know, so it's been nice. I learned a lot from that.
They were able to take little pieces to be able to test you
and just
build,
you know, and build me where I am today.
Yeah.
You know, and I still remember, you know, when I was in high school, my dad used to, you know, when he used to acquire hotels, you know, we'd work on the LOI, we'd work on the purchase agreement, and he goes, okay, I don't know how to type. You know, can you do it for me? You know, I knew he knew how to type. I knew he knew how to type. You know, it might be, it might take a little bit long for him to type, but I knew he knew it.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, he wanted to instill in me that, you know what, this is how you do it. You know, this is how you do a LOI. This is how you create a purchase agreement.
Yeah.
And from that, I do my own agreements now.
Giving you those little pieces to build the confidence.
Just the puzzle, putting the puzzle together, right?
Yeah. I remember early being pretty young, and my dad would buy a new lawnmower or a new wheelbarrow or something, and he'd point at the box and say, "You're an engineer, figure it out."
Yep, exactly.
I knew my dad could easily put it together much faster and probably accurately, but just giving you those little projects that you know that you take on, and it's all you, definitely builds character.
It does. It builds character, builds you know, intelligence. I mean, it just, you know, all-rounded person.
What do you think are some of the biggest challenges that hotel owners face today?
So the challenges that hotel owners are facing today is, you know, of course, there's a few that I have in mind. You know, property insurance increases. It's been very challenging. Property tax increases. You know, employment challenges.
Right.
And then, of course, the current economy, where we stand today. So those are the challenges that every owner is facing throughout the U.S.
Right. What is Vimal doing right now to get in front of those obstacles, to handle some of those issues and not be taken out by them?
So what we're doing is we're being proactive in every department. For example, we'll take this hotel. You know, we're cross-training all our employees. You know, the front desk employees, the salesperson, the assistant manager.
Nice.
You know, they're all playing different roles basically, and it's very helpful, and they've been a very good staff to me.
What do you think is some of the main benefits of that? Is it so that they can help out if things get tough, or if you just can't hire enough people in that role that other people can come and help out?
It's a synergy. You know, we're a family.
Yeah.
And I believe in my employees as being family members. You know, and it just creates a good positive vibe.
Are you seeing any shifts in consumer behavior or travel trends?
We are. So, you know, of course, the lack of international travel has hurt the economy. A rise in alternative accommodations like Airbnb, Vrbo, coming in online.
Yep.
And then just the guest expectations with lower tolerance. You know, so because, you know, before we used to have guests, you know, that come in very positive, but now it's like, you know, it's a fast society. You know, you have the internet, you have social media, you have all these, you know, sources that guests look at, you know, and they choose and pick which property they want to stay or where they want to eat.
Right.
You know, and I do the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, as a consumer.
With issues like labor shortages, rising costs, franchise pressures, is there anything that you are changing with your business to accommodate some of those issues?
So, you know, labor shortages, going back to cross-training, that really helps us in the labor shortages. Rising cost, you know, we try to negotiate bulk purchases for lower cost.
Yeah.
And then franchise pressures, We try to maintain a good communication with the brand reps, to ensure that, everything is in compliance and that realistically the PIP that they're providing, the timelines, and it's cost effective for the brand.
Have you seen any issues yet, and hopefully not too much in the future, but with increasing tariffs, with increasing costs for supplies, have you seen any of that pressure yourself?
We have across the whole board, basically, with purchases for the hotel industry. It's going to be there. I mean, it's a norm, it's a change, part of life now, part of the doing business.
Right.
So we just have to watch our overhead, and try to cut cost where it does not affect the customer service portion of it.
Right. The quality of the
Quality,
products.
satisfaction.
In general, where is the industry headed? What major changes are you seeing that affects the whole hospitality industry?
So the changes that I've seen, I've started to see actually, is increase in automation, self-check-in portions, basically. More data-driven personalization with the guest. And then, brand diversification. So we're seeing all this come into play now, especially for the future. Automation and contactless check-ins will be big business down the road. So
yeah. As far as AI, are you seeing any major changes for the artificial intelligence inside the hospitality industry that you're using?
We are, and we're looking at the operational efficiency. It's going to be more efficient to do business on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Even though that may affect the employment rate.
Sure.
So it's a balance that we have to take, right? But you're not going to have robots everywhere in every department.
Of course.
You will need human beings.
Yes.
And and to me, it's a personal touch when you have a human being, speaking to you. It's a very personal touch.
Yes, absolutely.
So.
And I feel like even more now, customer service is so important because we have so many touch points where it is AI, it's a bot that doesn't feel real. Like, we're getting more used to it, but when you have good customer service coming from a real person, it almost makes a bigger difference today, getting that touch.
No, absolutely, and guest expectations are increasing tremendously nowadays, right? They want more for the money, basically, and you have to offer that.
What opportunities are you seeing personally going forward? Any different market segments, product types, different brands, different markets? Where are you looking into the future?
For the future, I'm looking into more towards. I'd like to stay within mid-scale brands because of less overhead. Full service, I try to stay away from full service at this time because it's too much overhead, basically. And and I'm also looking into extended stay markets. I know there's quite a few brands that have rolled out extended stay brands, which are appealing to me.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like there's a good dichotomy between the Airbnb, Vrbo, that sort of appeal to that extended stay. I feel like that's very similar. And for us, personally, we love to travel, naturally. And we have a big family. We have 6 kids. Nice. So often it can be challenging going to hotels.
Absolutely.
You almost have to have connecting rooms. Sometimes that's available, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
And even a connecting room can be tough to get 8 people into a single room. And that's sort of an appeal to, and I think a push, that a lot of families have, 8 people that are traveling together, but you do have a lot of groups that are multiple families together or extended families that are traveling together that have an appeal to go to a larger building, a larger space that like a Airbnb typically allows for. But I feel like that's where the extended stay helps out a lot, and where hotels and brands are getting really smart and dipping into that market. While it may be smaller, still has a lot of benefits that hotels haven't had the opportunity to jump into lately.
No, I agree. And even for us, when we travel, we love to travel also.
Yeah.
And, if we're with our family or friends in a larger group, we're going to be renting a house or Airbnb.
Yeah.
That's the route to go to. Hotel industry will always remain there. It'll stay strong. And we also we have cycles that go up and down,
Right.
which is every business has.
Yeah.
And we just have to stick it out.
So JV obviously went successful
It
here.
did. It did.
Are
It did go first JV project for us. Because up until now, all our hotels that we owned were self-funded basically.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, it limits your growth. So I said, you know what? Let's try a JV project, see how it goes,
Yeah.
and then we'll go from there.
Do you like it? Are you gonna
I
do
do.
it
I
again?
do. We love it. Everybody's on the same page. I have my siblings in here with me,
Yeah.
my brother and sister, and then I have one of my good family friend. His family invested with us, so it's been good. It's been good so far.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
Gonna
we're on the
try
same
it.
page, and we have our days. Of course, everybody
Oh, of
does.
course, yeah.
We stay we're very communicative.
Yeah.
We're once a month we have a call with the management company. All of us are on the call. To see
Once a month?
Once a month. We'll see where we're heading. And I'm here every day, right? So I mean, I know everything anyway. So,
Yes.
but that once a month call really involves all my partners together. And I want them involved too, right?
Good.
In any major decision making, day-to-day decisions, small ones, I take care of it. So I don't even bother anybody.
You gonna do another one of those?
I'm Hilton approved now. So thinking about, I do want to do a Hilton product probably down the road. And then looking at Wyndham, the Echo, the extended stay Echo,
Yeah.
the new one that rolled out.
Yep.
That's a little bit enticing. So I'm talking to a general contractor right now to see how the numbers work out.
To build from the ground up again.
Yeah, from ground up basically. So, but I did, one question. We didn't. I don't think we discussed this, but one question is that, we want to, for any person that's constructing a new hotel, don't take shortcuts. Hire a experienced GC
Yes.
because that will save you money and time.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And the thing that is so interesting, and one of the things that really pulled me into the hospitality space, because I've been a commercial broker for a long time,
Right.
is just how unique hotels are. One, having it's still real estate, and
Correct.
the location obviously matters a ton, but it's very much a business.
Right.
And how well the business is run directly affects obviously your income, but
Absolutely.
the value of the property. And
Exactly.
obviously that's where
Right.
I deal with quite a bit. And with being used so much, I totally agree with you on the construction side. Like, do it right from
Correct.
the beginning, because you're going to be ideally in this 20, 30, 40, 50
Absolutely,
years.
for a long time.
And it gets used so hard, so much more than like an office building
Absolutely.
or a retail building gets used and just pounded to the ground every day. That if you're taking shortcuts, it's going to show up.
It's going to show up and it's going to affect the business
Yeah.
down the road, right? And long term, you just gotta make sure you make the right logical, right person that you need to hire, basically, because that will really affect the business.
Going into our next section, before we check out from this interview, I always like to do what we call the wake-up call,
Perfect.
which is a shorter answers, rapid-fire
Right.
questions. What's one hotel experience that you'll never forget?
Going back is that listening to my wife to purchase that one hotel. So yeah, I think that's paid off.
Trust those that
Trust those instincts,
yeah.
feminine instincts. You have to do it.
Yeah. What's one thing that you wish more guests understood?
I wish more guests understood the challenges that hotel employees face on a daily basis, basically, especially the front desk staff, right? Front desk staff are working hard to meet guest expectations. They're working, while managing multiple responsibilities behind the scenes. So I think, a little patience from the guest and empathy would go a long ways.
A good front desk clerk has to be one of the hardest jobs in the world.
It is.
Not only are you managing so many people, so many humans as guests and all of their emotions and all of their needs, and we all know traveling can be hectic. It can be frustrating, especially when things don't go right or don't meet your expectations. And you have to meet their emotions. You have all of the other staff that you're coordinating and helping with, and in your own. Like,
Right.
there's so many and long hours, and it's just got to be one of the hardest jobs overall.
it is,
I've never done it.
absolutely.
You've been in that
I've done
seat.
it. I've done every department, and it's very challenging. Front desk is very challenging.
What's one habit or trait that you think every good hotel owner has?
Every hotel owner demonstrates relentless hard work and dedication, whether they're managing, hands-on or behind the scenes problem solving.
Yeah.
They're consistently putting in the effort to ensure, that their properties are successful. Kudos to those owners grinding day and night.
Yeah.
It's hard work, and it's 7 days a week.
It is. It never stops.
Never stops. 24/7.
Yes. And it's in the only industry, I believe, that your entire inventory expires at midnight
Right.
every single day.
No, absolutely. And I still remember, when I was micromanaging hotels, locally here, I'd go to sleep. Let's say 10:45, I'm in bed. 11:05, the phone rings. The night auditor is not here. So you get up out of bed,
Yep.
get dressed, and you go work.
Yep.
So been there.
What's one favorite book or podcast that has really made an impact on you?
I've started on, I love reading, especially, business magazines, hotel magazines. But, on a non-business literature, I'm starting on Emotional Intelligence, which is a book by Daniel Goleman.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be starting on that. Podcast, I'll be listening to your podcast from today.
Of course. Of course. Better be your favorite one.
Yes, it will be. It will be.
Vimal, this is so wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited to see where you go in the future.
Likewise, thank you so much.
All right.